The Daily Show back in the day was the first time I remember as a young lad being interested in the news. Maybe it was the moment of zen. Maybe it was his dry delivery, his humorous inclusion of folks like Stephen Colbert and Stephen Carell. I still remember Stephen versus Stephen. And I'm delighted that the man now is on YouTube preaching the truth. Here he is discussing the Dominion voting machine versus Fox filing. And oh my gosh, he's not lost a step in 20 years. Here he is.
Boy, you know, when you've spent your life screaming at Fox bars and hotels and your house, and then the emails finally come out that say, oh yeah, everything you thought about them is worse than you thought. We're going to be talking about Dominion voting system versus Fox News, the defamation trial that shows you, in the words of the late great Dennis Green, they are what we thought they are, which is the worst. We're also going to talk to Jay Jordan and Robbie Slowick, our writers. What is up, kids?
Nothing much. Kind of dealing with the fallout of what you just described and looking at Twitter after that.
Looking at Twitter after the Fox case.
Yes, and seeing if they're going to talk about it at all. I combed through Fox News and Tucker Carlson's tweets, and I do want to say up top, I didn't see a single Happy Black History Month tweet.
Are you serious, Jay?
Not a one.
Let me tell you something. It's an oversight, and here's why. Because he believes every month is Black History Month, and he believes that why separate it out when that's how he lives his credo.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, all the producers are talking about Black History Month.
You know what? Happy Black History Year. You know, you're gonna get the emails he's sending to Hannity. Why the fuck are you not talking about Black history, Hannity? We're gonna lose our audience. They're gonna shift over to BET. This is serious. Look at our stock price. This is terrible.
It is funny to see what he has promoted in the sense. There was he had 7 days ago where he was talking about the balloon, and now it's just all his upcoming Fox Nation special on the death of comedy. Yes. And 2 days ago, right back to gender. Yes. Right back to gender.
Well, they're going to go right back to what they do, which is send the emails about we're going to use gender as a wedge issue. I mean, what it reveals is the thing that we have been screaming about for 2 decades, which is this is a purposeful strategy to divide the country and gain political power through fear and lies and whatever the fuck else it would take. We've known about this. Listen, man, I sat in Roger Ailes' office.
Well, John, I want to know, how short was your skirt?
Oh, it was short, baby. Okay. And he said, just his turnaround there. Oh, you are circumcised. All right. And this is what the...
Just for the record, the point he's bringing up, I want to underline for the use in the rest of this. Purpose of Fox is not necessarily to promote one candidate. It is to collect power. That's it. Roger Ailes had a plan that began in, I kid you not, the Nixon era to build up a right-wing media machine. But the purpose is to get and maintain power.
The argument was for a year, which is you are a cynical bastard who is doing everything he can to destroy any legitimate criticism that might be leveled against Republicans or conservatives, not in an effort to win a debate, but to destroy any obstacles that are in your way to consolidate power. And that is it. Full stop.
It's just wild to watch.
Yeah.
Because terrible journalism, amazing Netflix series. You know what I mean? That's what this feels like. You go,
no, it's narratives. It's narratives.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
Brilliant.
truly a soap opera.
And the level of projection around them every single day around all of this type of stuff. The fact that they dedicate hours of airtime to, George Soros is a foreign billionaire trying to influence our politics. And then their inbox is flooded with emails from a foreign billionaire being like, you need to do a better job influencing our politics.
Yes. Well, that's the key. He's not.
Is it not amazing? Let's
Their
phrase
problem
that
with
better.
Soros.
Is it not amazing how bizarre the projection is? Like how accurate the projection is. They are the modern right wing in America is the only group for whom the playground taunt of "I am rubber, you are glue," whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you, is fully accurate. It works. They literally are complaining about a foreign billionaire manipulating American politics while working for Rupert Murdoch. Wild.
Is how ineffective he is. But by the way, it's not just media. This is part of a multi-pronged strategy. If you notice what happened on the right is any of the institutions in America, and by the way, this is not to say that there isn't unbelievably legitimate criticisms of colleges, media, newspapers. There is absolutely huge swaths where those institutions fall down, fail, need to be improved. But their strategy was, we will devalue them, we will deauthorize them, and then we will build parallel structures, parallel college institutions, parallel think tanks, parallel news organizations. And rather than use them to properly promote a conservative versus liberal debate, we will skew reality and create, and it's The Last of Us. Let's create an army of zombies, and the cordyceps is the fear and disinformation and misinformation. I mean,
Completely true. In other words, he's saying they have been working hard. The they being the Republican machine has been working hard to get people as disinformed as possible. And he didn't even include the constant attacks on public schools, the defunding of public schools, switching them to private schools, knowing full well that a ton of their voter base won't be able to go to those private schools. But that's fine for them. That's fine. Because if they go to the private schools, they're most likely getting a Christian right-wing education, which is it'll teach you the nuts and bolts, but not what the machine does. And then, if you go to a defunded public school, and you're from a trailer park which has Trump and Q flags hanging everywhere, it's only in their benefit to make sure that that person grows up with less of an understanding of what's going on around the world. They did the same thing with colleges. They did it with the EPA, not letting the. They did it with the. Not letting the CDC track gun deaths. Once upon a time, the CDC did indeed do that. They don't want information available to the general public because they don't want an educated general public, because the more you know, the less you like Republicans.
it's fucking amazing.
It's just so deeply effective as well. I mean, they've really everyone is fighting for a very small sliver of the population where they get to create whatever reality they want with that sliver of the population.
Well, what you hope is, and this is my only hope, is that finally other institutions that are meant to earn authority by being correct or being smart will finally go, oh, fuck off. And will no longer say, oh, we're not getting the right's viewpoint enough on our network anymore. When they realize that that's not the right's viewpoint, that's the strategic viewpoint that they employ to gain power. It has nothing to do with right or wrong. It has nothing to do with conservative versus liberal. It has everything to do with consolidating power by any means necessary. And they have so worked the refs in the media atmosphere that they're scared shitless. People at the networks and the other cable networks are scared shitless. Listen to the nonsense they spew. We want to get back to objective news reporting and call it balls and strikes and all that. Shut the fuck up and tell us what's going on for real.
Yeah.
And be confident about it. And don't back off because you're getting calls from Rupert Murdoch or that there's a giant audience of Fox News zombies that are calling you out for not putting lies on the air.
So he's switched gears. He's talking about Fox News here. But I would extend that to all corporate media. Anyone who's pining for the days when they could pretend like Mitch McConnell was ever trying to accomplish the things he said he was trying to accomplish, that's crazy. It's simply not an accurate representation of who Mitch McConnell is and ever was. I do worry that there will be a return to those bad old days as soon as the obvious demagogues are dealt with. And I fortunately think that the American public has become savvy enough since then that they will not fall for that nonsense.
Have some fucking balls.
That's the biggest thing that changed over the past 7-8 years is you saw CNN and ABC and NBC have to be like, well, I guess we have to talk about this. And everyone was like, you don't have to. And they're like, no, we have to give a couple of hours. We have to let Rick Santorum be like, this is why gay people are icky. Like there was just so many moments where I'd be like watching. I'd be like, y'all don't have to do this. You want to.
Well, and they've so effectively crafted that narrative that people just say the liberal New York Times in their head. And then you flip through the New York Times. It's like, do we need 4 more wars in the Middle East? Are trans people human beings? And you're like, there's nothing liberal about this paper.
That is the most fun I've been having. Is that 5 years ago, Donald Trump would have been like, the New York Times is a shit rag. And now today, all of my friends with septum piercings are like, we agree. We agree.
Yeah. Oh, such a good point. Yes. And speaking to the American people having woken up to this, yeah, the appetite for just letting the New York Times get away with the label of being a liberal rag. Thank God, we've grown up a little bit as a media consuming population.
Thank you, Don, for standing up for them.
No question. The weird thing is, on the right, they have the confidence of their convictions, what they believe is the worldview, and in some ways, it's why they've aligned themselves with Russia and Putin, which is Western civilization is under attack, and America is weakening itself by being diverse and not being Christian enough. And so they've devised this strategy that they employ in all other areas. And it is a strategy, and it is purposeful, and it is absolutely in no way truthful. It's just creating these sort of Potemkin institutions that exist not to create information that helps their cause, but to create strategies that rile up their audiences. They're looking for followers.
It's so funny because 2 days ago, Tucker Carlson was like, Joe Biden hates straight white men. And I was like, you mean that old straight white man hates old straight white people? I don't think that's the case. They're like, nah, because you know who's pulling the strings. They said diversity. They had a picture of Susan Rice up there. It's just.
I just want to say, once again, we have an opportunity here. He's saying, and Jon Stewart was saying, and quite correctly, that the folks that are supporting all this craziness believe that their way of life is generally being attacked by these forces they're told to fear. Our pitch, the pitch that people on the sane side of politics need to make and can make quite easily, because now it's much easier to come with the receipts. You can show, here's clip 1, here's clip 2. The pitch we got to make is who is actually attacking their way of life. Because you know what? It's not wrong. That's the really important thing for lefties to grasp. Like somebody got punched in the nose out of nowhere, and they're like, oh, my nose is broken. I got punched. And the guy that punched him said, it was that guy over there. We have to be the people that say, no, it was that dude. In fact, I was recording a TikTok, whatever, and I got in the background. Here's the results. Here's the evidence. Easy ways we can do this. The train derailment. Who voted for those deregulations? Who rolled back those regulations in the first place? Donald Trump. Joe Biden, by the way, still pandering to the middle, didn't choose to side with the employees that said this is going to be a problem, and he looked like a fool. But don't forget who rolled back the regulations in the first place, Donald Trump. Who rolled back the regulations on SVB, Silicon Valley Bank? Well, gosh, if it wasn't Donald Trump. Time and time again, there is a cause and effect, and all we have to do is show it. Be concise, say, here's the guy that caused it. That right there caused this problem right here. Show them who's screwing them over. When they feel like they're under attack, say, yeah, you are under attack. Yeah, there is a group of rich elites that are sucking up your money, and it's got nothing to do with Satan. It's got nothing to do with a secret cabal. It's pretty public, in fact, the cabal you're talking about. Religion ain't got nothing to do with it. Race ain't got nothing to do with it. Sexual preference ain't got nothing to do with it. It is 100% about money. That's it. That's all it is. The rich are manipulating the system so that they can keep on getting richer. And they do that at the expense of everyone else. It is truly that simple. We have to make that pitch.
So weird to see them go. So we have an argument. How do we find the science and the numbers to justify this cultural argument?
They don't need to. And all they'll do is say that, liberal media is facing a credibility crisis. I honestly, my biggest hope here is that they can no longer look you in the eye when they're saying their bullshit. I still think they will.
Oh, yeah.
Because one of their greatest strengths is lack of shame. And that lack of shame allows them to continue this charade. I mean, imagine it's like this. You're in the Wizard of Oz. You've gone through all the trials. The monkeys have flown through. You've finally gotten to the wizard. And they look behind the curtain and they find the wizard. The wizard, you finally realize this whole thing is being orchestrated. And you bust him on it. And then he turns and goes, no, that wasn't me. That's what they'll do. There will be no self-awareness. There will be no, you got me. There will be a doubling down that, oh no, this is out of context and we're not lying and there's not anything. You pull back the curtain and the wizard just goes like, yeah, who was saying all that shit? That's you. Here's your problem. You don't have a heart, and you don't have a brain, and you don't have courage.
And John,
okay.
Yeah, completely true. The answer to that is don't expect him to have shame. I'm going to be merciful to Jon Stewart. Don't expect him to have shame. Come in with the facts ready and do what we've done, for example, in the House. Come in with the facts at hand and just annihilate these mother effers. Embarrass them. Use their public embarrassment, their huge, their own popularity, the fact that they will draw eyes to them from their lies to be like, great, you were dumb enough to get in a ring with me. Now I'm going to knock your teeth out in front of all your friends. That's what we got to do. Time and time and time again. Come with the facts and be good at presenting them. It's pretty straightforward. Be concise, get to the point, and don't hesitate to call a mother effer a mother effer. There it is.
collection of these busted moments already. You know, when they said in court that no reasonable person would believe that Tucker Carlson is stating facts as a defense, which would be a good defense if there was a law in this country that you had to be a reasonable person to vote. But that's not the rules.
How
you know?
can the legal argument be the same as your worst friend from college? Well, okay, you'd have to be stupid to actually think that.
What if they just go into court and they go like, Your Honor, I'm sorry, my news organization was really drunk. He didn't.
Yeah.
My news organization didn't mean anything by that. And listen, hey, let's just all go peacefully here. I'm telling you, man, it'll never happen again. I got him. I'm going to drive him home.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about this news organization ever again.
Your Honor, I can't, for the fans, I can't break kayfabe. You know, I've got
That's
to
what it
stay in
is.
character all the
By
time.
the way, that is, you couldn't be dead on. For those who are fans of wrestling,
That is so perfect. John's saying, I'm going to let him say it.
that is exactly what it is. It is a nudge, wink, wink, little world that they've created where they all had to hold on to it. You know, when you
In fact, I'm going to, God, they edit so well. I need to take a page out of this. I'm going to say that is something you should stick to. A lot of MAGA folks are fans of wrestling. If you just look at the demographics, a lot of folks who watch WWE, for example, vote MAGA. Kayfabe, or kayfab is how I heard it said, is what I would recommend as an analogy for what Fox does. Use that as one of your tools. If you don't know, that's how the wrestlers have to pretend like the storylines are real outside of the ring. They do it in Mexican wrestling too. The luchadors that you never see them without their mask. It's a similar thing. It's to keep the feel of the performance alive. And when I was in middle school, there was a whole bunch of kids that honestly believed that, Randy Orton broke into another wrestler's house and beat up their wife, who also happened to be a professional stunt person, and was too tough for the cops to subdue. So now Randy Orton's running around, and the only way to stop him is through wrestling. There was kids that believed that until you ask them, why wouldn't the National Guard then swarm Randy Orton or shoot him like 30 times like we do in America? Why, you ask a couple questions and they go, oh, shoot, yeah, I guess you're right. Same thing here. Like, look, Tucker Carlson can't break kayfabe unless he's in a court of law and he's legally required to tell the truth. You go read MAGA inductee. You go read some of the highlights from the transcripts. In fact, here's a clip from a competing news network talking about what he said in a court of law. You tell me if he didn't say that. If he didn't say no serious person would take what Tucker Carlson says to be true. You tell me if he didn't say that he cannot wait for Trump to be a non-person. Present them with that and allow them trust that eventually that sort of messaging will get through, because now you are questioning the source of their misinformation, which is exactly what we should be doing.
You talk about defamation. So it's just going to be money. The truth is, when you're an organization that has a loyal audience, you really can't be beat. Now, I could see somehow legally them saying you can no longer have the word news in your title.
Or you have to make it very little.
Yes.
How little would the logo have to be, Jay?
The tiniest script.
I'll tell you a little short romantic story. When I first moved to New York City,
Robert, please.
with Casey Ballstrom, who is my wife now. When she moved here, we were just friends.
She is your wife.
She is my wife, but we were just friends when we moved here, and then we slept together the first night. That's an aside. We don't need that detail.
Was that based on the size of the apartment you lived in?
Yeah, John.
I'm going to give this man, because he's a writer for Jon Stewart, I'm going to give this man the credit that this story is going somewhere. Let's find out. It's morbid curiosity.
It really was. It truly was. To celebrate our moving, we went and got a bottle of wine from a bodega. So we open up this bottle of wine, and it is like a rancid, sweet grape juice. It's disgusting. You can't drink it.
Manischewitz. They call it Manischewitz, right?
Basically. So I look at this bottle, and I learned a New York City lesson. You can only buy wine at liquor stores in New York. Bodegas can't sell wine. But what they do is they sell a fake product they can fool you with once called wine product. It looks like wine. The bottle looks like wine. They make you think it's wine. And Fox News is news product. It looks like news. You think it's news, but it's not.
Right. It would be the same if in that bottle of wine was heroin, and that heroin addicted you, and all you wanted was more.
Yes.
To the point where if you saw a different news channel on in an airport, it would make you mad. It would make you mad that this other network would be allowed to broadcast, because they live in the upside down, an upside down that was created to flatter their fears and prejudices. And this wine product that you speak of is now the largest semi-alcoholic brand of wine in the country, and it's killing all of our grandparents.
Okay, so he did indeed get somewhere useful. In fact, that's going to factor right into what you can do. Fellas, well done. Let me transition to the big screen. So what can you do? First of all, that little thing he said at the end there, that's true. Fox News on at the bar. Somebody complaining if MSNBC gets turned on. Let's turn that around. At this point, as a customer of an airport bar, as a customer of the Denny's, as a customer of any place, you have a reasonable complaint if Fox News is playing. The other folks are not afraid to say, hey, I don't want to see MSNBC. Yeah, put on Fox. We need to take that and do it ourselves. We need to say, no. Wait a minute, are you playing Fox News? Are you playing the people who are right now being sued for lying? Are you right now playing the people with a case for defamation that is so strong it's too simple to be in legal textbooks? No, that's misinformation. That's a well-known misinformation network. Get that off the TV. Be that person. And if somebody complains, great. That's an opportunity to talk about, person to person, the misinformation. Like, look, you can feel however you feel about it. The fact is, Fox lied and Fox admitted they lied. Save on your phone, on the home screen, save on your phone a link to a website that summarizes it, a news article that summarizes it. Save however it is you save things for fast access. Be like, look, this is what they said. Well, Sidney Powell was on there lying about the election. I don't want this playing in my neighborhood. I don't want this playing in an establishment I'm in. If you really want to change it, you change it after I am long gone. But while I'm here, no, sir. No, ma'am. I will not put up with having that on the TV. That will have an effect. That will have a massive effect, particularly if it becomes taboo to play Fox in a proper establishment, as it should be. It's not a real news network. It should be embarrassing for a business to play Fox. Use that. Do that. We talk all the time about projection, and they whine about cancel culture. But guess what? These people complain if Fox isn't playing. No, there are more of us. As Tara Canfield pointed out, there are more of us. Let us take advantage of that. Sane people should not put up with Fox being played in a public establishment. End of story. Have the backbone to confront these folks in person. Raise a stink about it. If you are in a place where you're surrounded by Trumpers, be like, all right, well, I'm here. Let's turn the TV off then. I will not do business with you with Fox News playing in the background. Vote with your dollar in that case. But in fact, you can do more. Simply, whenever you get the opportunity, ask MAGA folks if they've heard what Fox said about them. Look, if you tell them to, in an establishment, turn off Fox, and somebody turns to you and says, why would you want to turn off Fox? They're the real news. Be like, well, did you hear what Fox said about its viewers? Look what they said about its viewers. Look what Tucker Carlson thinks about you. To get those answers, because Fox is not talking about it, to get those answers, they will need to go to a real news source. And that will be the beginning of undoing this insane hold that this network full of liars has on its viewership. Expose them for what they are. Look at some of these comments. Oh, what's up, everybody? We got Wireless Mike. Good to see you, sir. George Carlin said basically the same thing back in the 80s and 90s. They don't want an educated public. They want sheep who are just smart enough to push the buttons and follow instructions. 100% agreed. Wendy Evans says divide and conquer is the Republican strategy. Oh, yeah. The real war is a war on truth. Also from Wendy Evans, agreed. Oh, God. Wireless Mike accurately says we'll be cleaning up Trump's mess for decades. Yes, but I think he accidentally gave us the tools to clean it up, one, and to prevent this from going on as it has, number two. I think he accidentally exposed the reality of Republicans to America, and now we will have to do a good job of raking in those people who realize there's something amiss.